Oh, I hope everybody is doing good. I know you guys are looking forward to Halloween and then Thanksgiving coming up. We're getting into that season of all of our holidays, and don't forget to give thanks to God every day. Not just during the Thanksgiving season, but every day for the amazing blessings that we have been given. So, and also please pray to keep us all safe and healthy while you guys are at home and us here on campus. And we miss you guys tremendously. Can't wait for you guys to come back. But while you are there, I have your project for this week. You will actually have 2 weeks to do this project. First thing you're going to do in your art workbook is you're going to look at the warm and cool colors worksheet. Now, I know this is going to be a review for you guys, but again, like I've said since the beginning of the school year, review is good. So it helps us to look back into our brain at things that we, don't think about every day. Obviously, we're not thinking about what are warm and cool colors every day. So helps us, go back into our brain and remember what those are. So just look at this worksheet. You can color in these cute little drawings that are right here. Match the colors that are listed and color those in as well. Warm colors are obviously things you see out on a sunny day. It is the sun. It is the flowers. So you're going to think things like orange and red and yellow. And then cool. They represent it as like winter here, but winter is not the same for us as they represent it here because we don't get snow and freezing icicles and that kind of stuff, and we definitely can't build snowmen. But I tend to think of cool as nighttime, colors you see more at night, like the darker blues, greens, or also the ocean, because in the ocean we see a lot of those cooler colors. Water is definitely, we think of as a cooler color in the ocean. It looks blues, we see greens, we see some purples in there. So I tend to think of nighttime or the ocean as cool colors. They represent it as winter, and that's fine as well. So go ahead and color that in. Have fun with that. You can use crayons or colored pencils for this. I probably wouldn't use markers because the markers might go through to the other side of our sheet, and we probably have something on the other side of our sheet. So I would just stick to crayons or colored pencils. All right, so on to our next project for our famous artist book. I hope you guys are enjoying making this book. I know the students here in school are really enjoying it. Even though we're only getting ready to start our 3rd artist, they're getting really excited about taking this home and showing it to their parents of all the really cool artists they've learned about and all the really cool artwork that they've done. So our 3rd artist, his name is Thomas Gainsborough. So you're going to need the little worksheet about him. And you're also going to go to my the PDF that I've included, which has a link to information about him. So learn about Thomas Gainsborough. He was an interesting artist, and he painted in the 18th century, which was the 1700s. So a little bit further back than the 2 artists that we have already looked at. And the 2 artists that we have already done, Joseph Stella and Pete Mondrian, were both abstract artists. They actually, both of them started out as realistic artists and moved to abstract. Gainsborough was a realistic artist, and he liked to paint landscapes and portraits. So we're going to do a combination of both of those today. We're going to create our own landscape, but then we're going to take these cute little characters. You guys have this page as well. It says characters for Thomas Gainsborough art activity. We're going to color these cute little characters in, then we're going to cut them out and put them into our landscape. So the reason why we did warm and cool colors for as a part of this project is because when we look at a landscape, we see those warm and cool colors. So I want you to really think about that when you're creating a landscape. Do you want your landscape to look like it's summertime and it's sunny and it's got a lot of yellows in it? Or do you want it to look like it's nighttime or maybe winter and you have more blues and darker colors in it? Well, I chose to do a more of a summer type of landscape, but I also put some little clouds in there to look like it could be heading towards a nighttime or a cooler time of the season, maybe fall. And I also want you to think about the different types of things that are in landscape. In my landscape, you see this tree, which is very much in the foreground of my landscape. And when it's in the foreground, it's usually bigger. Things that are closer to us or in the foreground are bigger because we see them closer. They're definitely bigger. And then I have these mountains and this waterfall, which are in the background, so that's why they look smaller. Obviously, mountains are much bigger than a tree, but because it's further away, then it's going to be smaller. So I have these little mountains back here with this waterfall, and I'll show that a little bit closer up so you guys can see this. And then I put in there a little fire, also maybe representing that it's getting a little bit cooler out. And then I also put in here some trees that are in the background. So if you'll see this, you'll see these little trees that are darker because, again, things that are further away from us, if they're in the background, they're going to be smaller. And they're also going to look a little bit darker because they're further away from us. We're not seeing the color of them as well. So I know that foreground and background and midground is a little bit hard for you guys in first and second grade. But, that's something that you can think about when you're doing your work. And if it doesn't look that way, that's okay. We'll learn that as you guys get a little bit older. We usually tend to start that kind of thinking, that foreground, midground, background in third grade. So when you get into third grade, that'll be something a little bit more that you think about. So then once I made my landscape, and the one thing I do want you to notice is I colored my entire page. There was nothing left blank on this page, and that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to make sure that you color it in nice and completely. So then after I colored it in, I colored my cute little characters. I cut them out. And remember, take your time cutting. It's not a rush. You have 2 weeks to work on this project, so don't rush it. Cut them out nice and on the lines, and then put them in your landscape any way that you want to. It's your landscape. The one thing I don't want is I don't want your landscape to look like my landscape. I want you to be original and creative and create your own landscape. Maybe you could go out in your backyard and draw what you see in your backyard or your front yard or somewhere around your house. And then put your little characters in there, glue them in, and then of course you're going to cut out your little information about your artist, glue it onto the back side of where your Stella project is. So you're just going to flip over the page from your Stella project. You're going to glue in the information about Thomas Gainsborough, and then you're going to glue in your project on this page opposite of it. So that way when you open it up, you know who the artist is and your work. And that's it. So if you have any questions about this project, as always, feel free to reach out to me. You should have plain white paper in your packet that went home with you to be able to make your landscape on. If you don't, you can use just a plain piece of white printer paper or anything will work. So have fun with the project. I know I had fun with the project. I had a lot of fun trying to figure out where my people were going to go after I made my landscape. I didn't plan it beforehand. I just made the landscape. But if you want to plan it beforehand and figure out where your people are going to go before you make your landscape, feel free to do it that way. That's even probably a better way than what I did. I was more engrossed in the landscape making part of it than I was concerned about the people. Which I probably should have been more concerned about what kind of setting they were going into. So, that's another way you can think about it. Maybe plan it out a little bit more based on where you think your people are going to go. Other than that, have fun, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.